The following episode depicts acts of violence and murder. Listener discretion is advised. What would you do if someone sent you a text message of a photo of the corpse of a family member or a loved one? That's what happened to Carmen Rivera on Easter Sunday, 2009. Carmen was on her way to Saint Vincent Hospital in Worcester when she received a photo of her son, 25-year-old Luis Rosario, dead on a gurney at the hospital. Luis had been shot twice in the chest outside of a house party on Hammond Street. The photo of Luis dead at the hospital had been posted on social media with the caption, "Mission accomplished."
Unsolved Worcester is brought to you by the following sponsors. Follow the crowd through the doors of Donut Homies and say hi to Haley Noel, the donut queen of Worcester's Canal District. Donut Homies is open inside the Worcester Public Market at 160 Green Street every Wednesday through Sunday at 11 a.m. Online ordering with delivery and pickup options is available at donuthomies.com. Follow Donut Homies on Facebook and Instagram for monthly menu drops, specials, and more. Donut Homies, everything sweeter with the homies.
Welcome to Unsolved Worcester. I'm your host, Dan Yeager. In today's episode, we share the unsolved murder of 25-year-old Luis Rosario on Easter Sunday, April 12th, 2009. One of 10 unsolved murder cases we'll explore during Season 4 of Unsolved Worcester. Luis was shot twice in the chest around 3 a.m. during a fight outside of an after-hours house party on Hammond Street in Worcester's Main South neighborhood. Unsolved Worcester takes a deep dive every Tuesday and Thursday into unsolved murders and missing persons cases under investigation by the Worcester Police Department's Detective Unit. Our goal is to remind residents of the Worcester area, both past and present, that there are dozens of unsolved homicides and missing persons cases that need resolution. We hope we can be the spark needed to solve a case. Be sure to visit Unsolved Worcester on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and listen to all episodes for free at unsolvedworcester.com on your favorite podcast streaming platforms, and watch our accompanying videos on YouTube. Very little public information on the life of 25-year-old Luis Rosario. There are unconfirmed reports that Luis had ties to a local gang and had been involved in criminal activity throughout the city. The Telegram and Gazette reported his last known address was at 765 Main Street, the Albion rooming house in Worcester's Main South neighborhood, which back in 2009 was a den of prostitution and drug use. Like other cases we've already explored on Unsolved Worcester, and several unsolved cases we may share in the future, especially those involving possible gang-related deaths, there's very little media coverage of Luis Rosario's murder on April 12, 2009. However, unlike nearly every other episode we have shared or will share during the course of Unsolved Worcester, there were several witnesses to Luis's murder. Luis was at a house party at the first-floor apartment at 8 Hammond Street in Worcester, a split multi-family apartment building just a few hundred yards from the intersection of Main Street and May Street. According to police, there were as many as 40 people at the party. Just before 3 a.m., Luis went outside of the Hammond Street apartment and allegedly was involved in an argument and physical fight with another man. There were several other people outside at the time of the fight. Police believe they were at the party with the man Luis was in a fight with. During the altercation, Luis was shot twice in the chest, including once in the heart. The shooter, described by Worcester police as a Hispanic male in his late teens or early 20s, fled the scene of the murder in a four-door sedan. Luis, bleeding profusely from his chest, staggered back into the apartment building and collapsed. People partying inside the apartment attempted to render Luis first aid and then carried him into a vehicle and drove him to Saint Vincent Hospital. At 3:15 a.m., Luis arrived at the hospital. He was pronounced dead before 3:30 a.m. When police arrived at 8 Hammond Street after receiving reports of gunshots and Luis Rosario had died at Saint Vincent Hospital, it pieced together what happened from people that were inside the apartment during the house party. Police obtained a search warrant and gathered evidence from the apartment, doing their best to avoid broken beer bottles, empty liquor bottles, and tipped-over plastic cups. They called on the partygoers that witnessed the shooting to come forward with information, but no one came forward. Moments after Luis Rosario died, around 3:15 a.m. on April 12, 2009, a series of unfortunate and distasteful events allegedly occurred. According to court records, Luis's mother, Carmen Rivera, was on her way to Saint Vincent Hospital following news of Luis's death when she received a text message with a photo of her son's corpse at the hospital. It is believed 4 people entered the Saint Vincent Hospital emergency department with Luis, claiming they were Luis's relatives. One person allegedly claimed to be Luis's brother, and he was joined by 3 other individuals claiming to be Luis's sister-in-law, Luis's child's mother, and Luis's child's aunt. Court records would show later that Carmen Rivera believed at least 2 of the 4 individuals to be Luis's roommate and Luis's ex-girlfriend. The other 2 individuals weren't identified. Police theorized that one of the 4 people took a photo of Luis's corpse in the emergency room. The same photo would allegedly be posted later on the social media site MySpace with the caption, "Mission accomplished." Nearly 3 years to the day after Luis Rosario's murder, his mother, Carmen Rivera, would file a complaint on April 10th, 2012, against Saint Vincent Hospital, Vanguard Health Systems, and the security officers staffing the emergency department on the night Luis was brought to the hospital after being shot twice in the chest. In her lawsuit, Rivera claimed negligence on the hospital's part, alleging they allowed 4 strangers to enter the emergency department without showing identification, resulting in a photo of her son's corpse being posted to MySpace and texted to her cell phone. Rivera claimed emotional distress and privacy rights violations and sought to recover damages from personal injuries inflicted upon her when she received the photo of her son dead at the hospital. Case went to trial in 2014 in Worcester Superior Court. A back and forth between Rivera and the hospital would continue for nearly 5 years until the case was finally settled out of court in February 2019 before it went to a jury. The particulars in the settlement are undisclosed. When Luis Rosario died, he left 12 siblings, including 7 brothers and 5 sisters. His mother, Carmen Rivera, his father, his stepdad, a girlfriend, and several other relatives. No arrests have ever been made in Luis's murder, and more than 14 years later, his murder remains unsolved. Thank you for listening. I'm Dan Yeager. Don't miss another episode. Click the notification button to get alerts when new episodes of Unsolved Worcester drop. If you enjoyed listening to this episode, please consider clicking the like button for us. And if you subscribe, the next episodes will show up in your feed. Click the bell on the right and select all, and you'll get a notification of when the next episode is ready. If you have any thoughts you'd like to share, please leave them in the comments below. We do read them all and respond to as many as we can. Anyone with information about what happened to Luis Rosario are asked to contact the Worcester Police Detective Bureau at 508-799-8651 or send an anonymous text to 274-637. Write TIPWPD plus your message or send an anonymous web-based message at worcesterma.gov/police. Come back on Thursday for the final episode of Unsolved Worcester Season 4, the oldest unresolved case on file with the Worcester Police Department, the March 1951 murder of Sean Goggin. Sean had been staying with a friend's family in Worcester when he was shot and killed at their home on Fairhaven Road by 2 unidentified men. Special thanks to the Worcester Public Library, the Worcester Police Department, the City of Worcester, and our sponsors for making this possible. Information on the murder of Luis Rosario was gathered from multiple resources, including the Telegram and Gazette and the Massachusetts Trial Court. The Unsolved Worcester podcast music is provided by Tom Lebelzik of the Worcester Jazz Collective. This episode is written and produced by Pat Sargent. Drone footage provided by Ron Scott at New England Sky Pics. Videography and editing by Colin Turner. Sponsorship information announcer Chandler Walsh. This episode is supported in part by a grant from the Worcester Arts Council and the National Endowment for the Arts. To find out more about how National Endowment for the Arts grants impact individuals and communities, visit www.arts.gov.